Here's what actually happens to your body and brain from day 0 to day 365. When you quit alcohol, some of it will feel amazing, some of it will feel brutal, and some of it will genuinely shock you. Because if you could see in real time what your organs, your hormones, your brain cells are doing in that first year without alcohol, you'd never call a drink just a drink ever again. And very quickly, if you want instant access to a brand new video training that I've just finished showing you how to control alcohol in as little as 48 hours, then click the link in the description. This new method is not about using willpower therapy or AA meetings. It's totally different. I do not publish this video anywhere else online, and it's already changing thousands of lives. So click the link below for instant access. Once you're on the next page, enter your name and email address, and your free training will begin. It takes just 7 minutes to watch, but it'll feel like somebody flicks a switch in your brain. And honestly, I'm not sure when I'll start charging for this 7-minute video training. That's how good it is. But whilst it's still available, click the link below, enter your name and email address, and watch that video now. Let's start at the only place that matters. Day 0, the last drink. Day 0 is usually not pretty. You don't quit alcohol on your best day. You quit it on the day you can't lie to yourself anymore. Your blood is still full of ethanol. Your liver is in overdrive trying to detoxify it. Your brain chemistry is a mess. GABA, dopamine, glutamate, all the systems that regulate calm, reward, focus, they've been bent around alcohol for years. You might wake up shaky, anxious, with that vague dread in your chest. You swear you'll cut back, but deep down, you know this can't go on. And at this point, most people think, I'm the problem. I've got an addictive personality. I'm just weak. No. What you're feeling on day 0 is not a moral failure. It's a predictable brain adaptation to a toxic industrial chemical you've been sold as fun and relaxation since you were a kid. So day 0 is really this: the day you stop blaming yourself and start blaming the substance. Days 1-3, the exit ramp. Within about 8-12 hours of your last drink, the alcohol in your bloodstream is basically gone. That doesn't mean you feel good. It means the real work begins. Your brain has learned to rely on alcohol to boost GABA, the chemical that slows brain activity down, your internal brake pedal. Over time, it responded by turning your natural GABA system down. So when you suddenly remove the alcohol, you're left with an overactive nervous system. That's why those first days can feel like anxiety for no apparent reason. Irritability, restlessness, racing thoughts, cravings that feel like they're coming from your bones. You're not crazy. Your brain is literally recalibrating. And here's the first shocker. By around day 3, in most people, that GABA system has already started to normalize. Your brain begins regaining its natural ability to calm itself without alcohol. You may still feel rough, sleep might be patchy, mood might swing, but underneath the chaos, the switchboard is being rewired. Big picture. Those first 3 days are not proof that you can't do it. They're proof that your brain is still capable of healing fast. Days 4-7. Sleep wakes up before you do. By the middle of week 1, something interesting starts to happen. You might still crash hard at night, but the sleep feels different, deeper, less fractured. You're not waking up to pee 3 times a night. You're not jolting awake at 3 a.m. with a pounding heart and a head full of doom. This is your nervous system stepping off red alert. Your cortisol, your main stress hormone, is still elevated, but it's beginning to trend down instead of spiking like a fire alarm. And your heart, within just a few days without alcohol, your resting heart rate can drop. Your cardiovascular system is breathing a sigh of relief. You might not notice this consciously. What you do notice is you wake up slightly less wrecked. Your hangovers are gone, obviously. You have the first normal morning in years. The mental story is still fragile though. You might be thinking, okay, this is good. Can I actually live like this forever? That fear is normal. The belief shift comes later. First, we stabilize the biology. Week 2, blood pressure, panic, and the first calm. Around day 14, something happens that will literally extend your life expectancy. Your blood pressure, one of the single biggest predictors of how long and how well you live, starts to normalize. Years of alcohol-driven hypertension begin to unwind in a matter of weeks. For many drinkers, 2 to 3 weeks of abstinence is enough for elevated blood pressure to start dropping back towards the normal range without medication. That's insane when you think about it. 2 or 3 weeks, inside, your heart is beating slower, more steadily. Those weird flutters some drinkers get, alcohol-induced arrhythmias, often calm down within days to weeks of stopping. Psychologically, week 2 can feel paradoxical. Part of you feels physically better. Another part is still on edge. Cortisol, that stress hormone, can stay higher than normal for several weeks after you quit. That's a big reason the early days feel emotionally volatile. So if you're thinking, I should feel amazing by now, why am I still anxious? That's not a sign you should drink. It's a sign that the chemistry hasn't fully caught up yet. Week 3, your liver does something miraculous. By week 3, roughly days 2025, something happens that would shock most drinkers if they saw it on a scan. If you're like the majority of problem drinkers, your liver has been swollen with fatty liver disease. It's extremely common, and it often comes with 0 obvious symptoms. By around the 3-week mark of staying alcohol-free, that fatty liver can start reversing fast. The organ shrinks back towards its normal size. The liver enzymes in your blood drop back towards baseline. That's your body switching from ongoing injury to genuine recovery. Think about that. You spend years battering this organ. Then in 3 weeks of not pouring ethanol on it, it starts looking like it did before the damage. At the same time, your bones are already responding. Markers of bone formation bounce back. Your skeleton has literally resumed rebuilding itself. You might notice less random aches, slight improvements in posture or exercise tolerance, just a general sense that your body isn't creaking as much. Again, you didn't do a crazy protocol, you didn't take a magical detox supplement, you removed the poison. Your body did the rest. Week 4, full metabolic reset. By the end of your first month, your internal operating system looks completely different. When people stop drinking for about 4 or 5 weeks, you often see a big drop in blood glucose, improved insulin sensitivity, lower total cholesterol, a few pounds of weight loss, often more in heavy drinkers. In plain English, your body has pulled off a metabolic reset, something most crash diets can't touch. Energy stabilizes. Those brutal afternoon crashes fade. Your appetite shifts away from junk. You might suddenly notice you actually want real food. Your sleep continues to deepen. You start getting true dream-rich restorative rest. This is usually when people say, I didn't realize how garbage I'd been feeling for years. I just thought that was getting older. That wasn't age. That was getting poisoned daily. Month 2, the new baseline. By month 2, days 30 to 60, the changes move from feel a bit better to I feel like a different person. The constant fatigue, low mood, brain fog, that dull gray cloud you thought was your personality, it starts to lift. Your GABA and dopamine systems are functioning more normally now. The nervous system is no longer dependent on alcohol to feel calm or rewarded. Cravings are less intense, less frequent, easier to ignore. Not because you've suddenly become a willpower machine, but because the brain circuits that linked stress drink or boredom drink are literally weakening from lack of use. On the outside, inflammation is down. Your skin clears, redness, puffiness, and that slightly inflamed look soften. Your face looks sharper, less bloated, more defined. On the inside, your immune system is rebuilding itself. Your risk of infection starts dropping. Your body is no longer fighting a daily chemical assault. Psychologically, this is where something huge happens. You stop seeing yourself as a drinker, trying not to drink. You start seeing yourself as someone who doesn't drink, period. Socially, situations that once terrified you, dinners, parties, work events, become easier. You learn to say no thanks without feeling like a freak. You walk out at 11 p.m., clear-headed, knowing you'll feel great in the morning while everyone else is sliding into the fog. Month 3, brain rebuild mode. By month 3, days 60 to 90, the most shocking change is happening inside your skull. Chronic drinking literally shrinks the brain. Neurons lose branches. Areas responsible for memory and decision-making lose volume. But when you stop drinking, your brain goes into rebuild mode. In the first month of abstinence, brain tissue can regrow at an accelerated rate. This recovery continues into the 3rd month. The white matter, the wiring, is restored. The gray matter, the thinking part, thickens again. By the end of month 3, your processing speed improves, your focus deepens, your working memory rebounds, your executive function, planning, self-control, decision-making is dramatically better. This is the point where a lot of people see big jumps in work performance, promotions, new businesses, better leadership, not because they suddenly got lucky, but because all the mental horsepower that used to be spent managing drinking, planning it, hiding it, recovering from it, feeling guilty about it, is now available for everything else. Day 90 is roughly the end of the acute transformation phase, but we're just getting warmed up. Months 4, 6, compounding gains. Between months 4 and 6, The changes become less dramatic week to week, but they compound. By this point, your liver is stable and functioning normally, assuming you didn't already have severe advanced damage. Your cardiovascular risk has dropped significantly. Blood pressure is normal. Resting heart rate is consistently lower. Your bones have regained strength. Your fracture risk is way down compared to your drinking days. Your body composition keeps changing. Fast water weight drop slows down. Muscle definition increases, especially if you're training. Your face continues to lose that puffy, inflamed look. Clothes fit differently. You literally look younger. Emotionally, you've now lived through real life stress without alcohol. The argument with your partner, the bad week at work, the money worry, the family drama, and you handled it. Awkwardly at first, maybe. You handled it. This is where the old story, "I can't cope without a drink," dies. Not because someone told you it was false, because your experience has proved it's false. Months 7 to 9, the new normal body. By month 7-9, you're not waking up proud of being sober. You're waking up and just living. The obsession is gone. You're no longer spending every ounce of energy managing your drinking or your recovery. The mental space that alcohol used to occupy is now filled with real life, relationships, projects, hobbies, training, bigger goals. Physically, this is when your body reaches something close to its stable set point as a non-drinker. You're leaner, you're stronger, your skin, hair, and eyes have that healthy, alive look. People start saying things like, "You look amazing, what are you doing?" You might even forget that alcohol was ever a big deal. That used to scare a lot of people. If I stop thinking about alcohol, what if I just randomly test myself with a drink? But that's the difference when you change how you see alcohol at the root. If you see alcohol as a treat you're not allowed, you'll always be tempted. If you see it as what it really is, a toxic solvent dressed up in fancy glassware, there's nothing to test. It's just not for you. Months 10, 12, 1 year without alcohol. Here's the strange thing. Most people don't feel some huge fireworks moment as day 365 approaches. By months 10, 12, not drinking is so integrated into your identity that celebrating not drinking feels as weird as celebrating not eating glass. You're not staying sober, you're just being yourself. But that year still matters. Because when you hit 1 year, your brain volume has largely returned towards its healthy baseline. Your cognitive performance, memory, focus, decision-making is basically rebuilt with only minor deficits in the heaviest long-term drinkers. Your risk for a bunch of chronic diseases, heart disease, diabetes, certain infections, has dropped massively. Your long-term cancer risk is trending down each year you stay alcohol-free, especially for liver and certain other cancers. And then there's the stuff no scan will ever show you. You wake up clear every single day. Your relationships are deeper and less chaotic. Your financial life is better. Fewer impulsive spends, no hangover bills, more capacity to earn. Your self-respect is back, possibly for the first time since you were a teenager. Day 365 isn't just 1 year sober. It's 1 year of being someone else. Someone closer to who you were meant to be before alcohol hijacked the script. The shocking truth about this timeline. Here's what I want you to take from all of this. The timeline I've just described is not exceptional. This is what your body is desperate to do the moment you get out of its way. Days 1-3, brain chemistry starts stabilizing. Weeks 1-4, liver, bones, metabolism reset themselves at a speed most medications can't match. Months 2-3, brain rebuild, identity shift, cravings fade into the background. Months 4-12, compounding gains in health, energy, relationships, money, and self-respect. The real shock isn't how well your body can recover. The real shock is that no one ever explained this to you before you picked up your first drink. You were sold a story. Alcohol helps you relax. Alcohol is part of life. Alcohol in moderation is even healthy. Meanwhile, your brain was shrinking. Your liver was swelling. Your blood pressure was climbing. And your risk of cancer was quietly going through the roof. Once you see that, the decision to keep drinking or to stop, it stops being a moral drama. It becomes maths. It becomes biology. It becomes obvious. If you're somewhere between day 0 and day 30 right now, and it feels messy and hard and emotional, that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're right on schedule. And every single alcohol-free day is not just a day you didn't drink. It's a day your body chose you over ethanol. Stack 365 of those days together, and you won't just recognize your life. You might not even recognize the person living it.